one opportunity to see everything you ever wanted in one moment. To capture it, just let it slip, 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 slip. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, 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 heavy. Sweaty, knees weak, arms like heavy, 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 heavy. Tell these people something they don't know about.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Exodus Sales Collective podcast, numero dos. It's me, Connor Fredrickson, here with co-founder, co-host, Cavin, Sherman.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess before we start this blog, good practice. Cavin, kind of explain a little bit of what we do and how we do it.
Sure. Yeah. So Exodus Sales Collective, we are a go-to-market growth partner, specific omni-channel for specifically technology companies. So a lot of IT and cybersecurity. We delve in other areas too. We definitely like to keep our nose and our ears to the streets on what else is hot out there that we can cold email, cold call, and cold LinkedIn message for. But that's kind of us in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, 100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. So I guess kind of how that ties into this podcast and, why I originally wrote the blog post and also, dyed my hair the Slim Shady way, is because this methodology, it has helped us quite a bit tremendously and helped us get sales, helped us get in front of more prospects to, make our craft that much better. So, I guess to start with it, at the end of the day, it's just objection handling. So, Cavin, have you seen the movie 8 Mile? You ever watch it?
It's one of those things where I've seen bits and pieces of it. Maybe I was younger. Some TV channel was up and I was watching scenes of it. I've seen obviously the most famous scenes, the rap battles and stuff. I don't think I've seen it fully.
And I wrote this podcast how long ago, and you still haven't watched it?
It's probably cool 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, well, you just said you've seen the famous, rap battle parts of it, right? So I've got the lines pulled up right here, right? So Eminem going into it, he knows he's got some objections to handle, just like how you going into a sales process, the company did their research. They more than likely talked to, other companies in your space. So what's the best thing to do, right? Run at them with features and benefits, or 8 Mile them, just like Eminem does, right? See how he starts it off. Already, what's he say? I already know everything he's about to say against me. I am white. I am a bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom. I got a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun. And I did get jumped by all 6 of you chumps. Right. So he already took everything away from them. And you can do the same thing in your sales process. Obviously not as, vulgar as Eminem does or direct, but you can learn from this. So I mean, Cavin, since I wrote this blog, I know this is kind of a methodology that I like and love and use quite a bit. But what have you kind of grabbed from this?
The way I like to think about it is it's really just calling out the elephant in the room. Is in any sales process, even social scenarios, there's things that come up that's like our internal voice in our head or our gut feeling. And the worst thing you can do, especially if you notice it in someone else, is avoid it. So you can sit there and like Connor said, just say what you do and what you can offer them and give. But instead, how about you gather ammo and you ask really good questions to get ahead of the questions they may ask later in the sale. So everyone's trying to shorten their sales process. When you call out the elephants in the room or ask the questions before they can ask the questions, what you do is you shorten that sales cycle. Every single sales process has probably the same, 4 to 7 questions every single time. In our industry, it's like, okay, maybe are your cold callers, are they based in the Philippines? What what happens if a prospect no shows? Is there any sort of do I have to pay everything up front? What other companies have you worked with, right? What do you do when, for some reason there's a prospect that's unqualified, right? Since these are the very common objections we get, it'd be a disservice to them to not bring them up early in the sales process to, just like Jordan Belfort says, it's a straight line sale. And the quicker that you can, it's almost like fast forwarding the sales process when you bring up something, whether it's a question that they were going to ask and have the answer for them early, or hit on an objection that you usually get, or a smokescreen that you usually get, something that's not necessarily real, that's just to kind of save face and to relieve the tension in the conversation. And I think really good salespeople are able to meet tension head on. I guess Connor, how do you do that?
Well, one thing that I like, Cavin and I, we go back and forth on, this style, but starting a sales call off when someone hops on, right? They took time out of their day to be there, right? They want to be there. You could sit there and dance around and, try to, kind of manipulate them into getting the answers. Or you could just tell them straight up. What a line I like is, hey, Mr. Prospect, there's about 90 different ways that I could steer this ship right now. But instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and ask you these set of questions, and then I'll really know and get a deep dive into which way that I should take this, right? And 9 out of 10 times, your prospect's going to respect that because you're saving them time, right? I'm not sitting there talking about myself the whole time and then finally getting to them at the end. I'm like, no, let's go through this, and this. Let's tailor this call to you, and let's make it effective. I'm busy. I got crypto charts to read. I got beautiful women to text back, just like you do, Mr. Prospect. So let's get all the BS, front loaded, and then go from there.
Yeah, and there's a book that a lot of folks like, the Challenger Sale, right? They did a study on the different sales personalities and going through them, right? The ones that they've kind of segmented are, you have your challengers, your lone wolves, your hard workers, your reactive problem solvers, and then your relationship builders. Well, relationship builders got the lowest, unfortunately, but the highest in this study was a challenger. Now, what are some of the traits that make up a challenger sales rep? Well, it's kind of in the name.
He probably challenges things.
Exactly, right? So offers the customer unique perspectives, has strong two-way communication skills, knows the individual's customer's value drivers, can identify economic drivers of the customer's business, is comfortable discussing money, can pressure the customer. So in the sales process, a lot of people avoid tension. They have a high need of approval, but when you ignore pressure, the sales process dies. There's no reason for them to move forward. There's no reason for you to move forward. And if you can't talk about money, then you can't move the next steps. And something that I think we've found and taken that on is, like, we're very comfortable discussing numbers very quick. And what it does is it actually weeds out all the looky-loos, all the people that are never going to buy. When someone's like, well, what's the price? Oh yeah, here you go. Sometimes they'll just skip to the slide right away. Like, here's the price, right? And then if I see them going like, ooh, then I know that, they might be looky-loos, or maybe I have to go back and build more value and then come back to that slide again. But we're 100%, 100,000% comfortable dropping the price. And what you find is if you have that tone of like, hey, I'm willing to talk about the hard stuff, your objections, your smoke screens, your problems, your concerns, the elephant in the room, the boogeyman in the market, the bad versions of our company that are other companies, right? There's so many bad competitors, right? That you
crazy ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, that you have to deal with the crazy exes.
Yeah, no, they have, and that's why they're having a problem with it, and that's why they're skeptical getting on these sales calls. So yeah, I just had a great idea and just kind of got away from me there.
So one thing that we've noticed is, because we've seen, working with so many companies, we see a lot of sales pitches, and especially in cybersecurity, right? You have these green sales reps, and they're taught this weird story, this story that doesn't exist, that they have to kind of soft, like walk on eggshells about the prospect's environment, when you don't. Like, most of these people just keep asking questions, because you're not asking questions to do anything wrong. You're asking questions to help them, right? You're gathering ammo, not to go against them, but to help them get to where they want to be. And when you basically put it in the prospect's head, or try to tell a story of like, hey, I think the prospect's not going to like it if I go a little bit deeper to ask a deeper question. Well, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. Let them stop you. They'll stop you if they feel like it's too much. But hey, I don't feel comfortable answering that. No worries. How about this? Let's sign an NDA. Let's talk about it. Or why is it that you don't want to talk about this? Is there something that may have happened in the past, or expand on that, expand on your hesitancy, right? Then you can get to the root of why they're giving you that smoke screen or objection, and then maybe it's something that's not even a big deal, and all you had to do was just ask a little deeper, comfort them a little bit, like, hey, we've talked to a lot of other prospects that felt that same way. This is what happened, and this is where we got to them at that point. So, I'm going to leave the ball in your court. What should we do here, right? And that you have that confidence to kind of be like, hey, I understand. I see, the elephant in the room, and this is where you want to go. We can bridge that gap, and here's why it's safe, and here's why it's the best fit for you. And this is across any industry, any
and all. And I just regathered my thought that I was trying to bring up earlier. And just background on me, I used to do life insurance sales. You'd be seeing about probably 10, 15 people a week, right? And what I learned is, if I wasn't hard and front loaded, all the objections, I'd have, I see 15 people, I have 10 follow-ups for the next week, right? And then my pipeline, it gets huge. I have all these looky-loos, and I start to lose people in the cracks, right? Me personally, I would rather have a pipeline, see 15 people, be super hard, and maybe only get 3 to 5 conversions, versus being soft and not upfront, direct with people, and then having all that stuff in your pipeline, because it will gunk it up. If you would have just been a little bit harder on prospect A, they might have just told you kind of to F off, right? And then that's out of your pipeline, versus if you were more upfront and a little bit harder with them. Good. Okay. They were looky-loo. They're out of your pipeline, onto the next process that, you could actually see some fruit from.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. Like, you can ask questions and gather the ammo so you can tell the conversation the right way. But you can also just say their objections, use the common objections or their story as the reason that they should do business. And if you're constantly taking notes of how your sales calls are going, you should be able to understand that and then make your pitches more effective, right? Maybe when you started, your pitch was very it was shallow, right? It hit on a problem that everyone kind of knows, but maybe what you're saying, that we see this in cybersecurity, right? You're calling all these prospects that already have a company, right? Talking about the amount of breaches that are out there, the amount of hacks, or how complex threats are. Everyone knows that at this point. What is that? And this is something we talked about in the first podcast. What is something that's a deeper cut that makes them understand that you're an expert? You've talked to so many companies. You understand the objections, the pain points, which you only get through straight conversations, going through the tension, keeping on the straight line, talking about the elephant in the room, because you're going to learn some things. Each sales call, you might pick up something like, wow, I didn't even know this was something that most of these prospects are worried about, but because I was willing to ask that extra question, I keep going until they stop me. It's like, wow, I'm seeing that this is something that my ICP is worried about, or there's something that they're paying attention to that no other company is talking about, because they don't go as deep as we do. Then you front load that, and they're like, wow, I don't think I've heard that perspective before. And this point in the conversation, I'm intrigued. This is different, right? Every single other sales rep, cold call, or SDR, account manager has come at me with this approach. You're coming at me with a complete curveball, and I'm intrigued. And they're going to continue the conversation with you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, in this, this sales, methodology, it's a little, it's not mainstream. I mean, a lot of companies, even, Fortune 500 companies, they won't use this. This is a little bit, more abstract, but with it being abstract, it does work because it's something you haven't seen before, right? Let's take it back to Apple, right? When they just did phones, you either had a black or a white one, right? Then I think it was like the iPhone 5. You could get, black, red, pink, blah, blah, blah. You see something different and you kind of gravitate towards it. Same with this sales process, right? It's something different that they haven't seen time and time again. So they're like, okay, I'm gonna go towards this. It's something new. It's something different. I haven't seen, I've seen the white iPhone 50 million times. Now he's got a pink one. I'm intrigued.
And so the tone that you want to have when you're asking these questions is not like, it's not a interrogation. You're not asking this in like a serious, so what is this? What is this? Or like a deadpan. So what's this? Instead, it's like a childlike curiosity, right? It's like when you're talking to your friend, you're like, wait, really? Like, so how's that going? Right? Like, okay. And then what are they doing about that? Right? Something that it's so genuine, it should come off like little explosions in your mind of thinking of questions, right? Where you're even stuttering and pausing and you're gathering yourself like, okay. So and how's everything going with the company you're doing now? How many reps are you looking at? Right? Instead of, so what are you doing with the company now? How many reps are you looking at? That's like, okay, it's kind of serious. I feel like you're trying to get into my stuff. But if you come in and you almost have to have a little bit of like, I'm a dumb guy trying to figure it out. Like, wait, what's that? Right? That tonality can be used with any question, like intelligent gathering questions that you have. And 99% of the time, they're not going to be mad at you because it's like, oh, this guy is just like interested and curious about what I have to say. It's like I'm talking to a friend that cares about me. And you care about their situation. You want to bring them to their dream outcome. And you do that with that tonality, asking those questions, and you're rarely going to get stopped. But, if you ask them all deadpan and like serious and cautious and too stable with your tone, it's not going to come off right.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do, I see that time and time again. Some sales reps, they will be almost combative with how they ask things, right? Because they're trying to, play the big dog and, go at them like that. But you get a lot farther. And one thing to always, kind of keep in mind is people love to talk about themselves. Like you can go find someone at Circle K, ask them where they went to high school. 9 out of 10 times they're going to give you, oh, well, I went to, Scottsdale prep before Scottsdale Road was even a thing. Most of it was dirt, blah, 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 right? So you can do the same thing with your prospect as long as you're not doing it combative and it's a genuine curiosity. And you should be, if you actually like your job and believe in what you're selling, you should have that already. You just have to not be a robot and actually portray it and implement it.
And eight miling is like time travel. It's like shortening time. It's like bending time, making a sales cycle shorter. It's magic, and it's not just saying what the objection is. It's asking the questions before, and gathering the intelligence so you can shift the conversation. The 8 Mile to me is so many different things. It's calling out the elephant in the room. It's going towards tension. We started with like when the blog was being written, it was just about asking questions. It's morphed into so many different things that bleed into so many of the sales methodologies that we know and love. We're probably barely even scratching the surface. It goes so deep. Sandler, don't spill your candy in the lobby, right?
Yeah.
Like this, it really paints a picture. So
could probably write about 8 more blogs about this and how to do it, effectively. But, going back to what Cavin said, I mean, if you've been working at a company and you've ran more than 15 discovery calls, you should probably already know every objection, right? Like that's coming up. So why would you sit there and know what's going to come up and, you know, just brace for impact, or, you know, just like I said, hey, there's about 15 different ways I could steer this ship. Let's go through this, and this, right? They're going to A, be intrigued that you're asking about them, and B, also like that you're respecting their time. Yeah, it sounds scary doing that and probably unnatural to most of you, but promise, try it. It'll work. If it doesn't, I'll give you my address. You can come hit me upside the head. I'm okay with that. That's why I bleached my hair. I believe in this.
He believes. So, comment, do whatever you gotta do. Let's keep this discussion going. We had fun diving into the possibilities of what an 8 mile is. Some people call it asking questions as like a reverse 8 mile. We can go really deep here, but thanks for tuning in. Exodus Sales Collective podcast. You can reach us on exodussalescollective.com.
I guess with all that being said, that's pretty much all we got to say about that. On the last blog, I was like, hey, come in with your questions, comments, concerns. Only got a couple. Would like to hear more, feedback from the viewers. Tell me my hat's stupid, or, you didn't like how I misspelled stuff, whatever. But love to hear some feedback. You can reach us at exodussalescollective.com or email either of us personally. Mine's Connor at Exodus Sales Collective. His is Cavin at Exodus Sales Collective. Sayonara.
Tim.